Book review and some interesting ideas I found in this book, Civilized to Death by Christopher Ryan. The Price of Progress. I'll start with the review. Interesting book, well written. It has some good points, more than the rest. I did not agree with all of it. I think he oversimplified, or he thinks that we had much better life in the past than we have right now. I don't fully agree with that comparison, because I think it's really hard to compare right now to how we felt back then. In addition, I have also things that this change was inevitable. We always look to improve ourselves, and we would be. So looking back is not the right way, but still good points. It's good to see that even though when we think our life is so well, it's not necessarily is. So definitely recommend listening or reading this book. Let's see the notes. Our leaders can agree on what's happening, let alone on what to do about it. So even facts, we have problem with facts, let alone what to do about those facts. The leisure future is around the corner, yet we supposedly there already. We always say, oh, the best life is right around the corner, the leisure future, but supposedly we're already there because that is the future in some way. Each time history repeats itself, the price goes up. I don't think this is his words, it's probably someone else's, but each time history repeats itself, the price goes up. I think it's a good sentence. We live our life in our own zoos. We are living in a zoo of a sort, all those apartments and everything, that's a zoo in some way. And we live in it willingly. Sharing was a successful trait to have. Sharing things was a successful, evolutionary speaking, sharing was successful. And I think going back to this, the sharing, he tried to refute the idea of that we are all selfish gene by Richard Dawkins, etc. Moving on. The study about people inflicting pain on others was only one out of many failed ones. So that's a known one, very famous study, that people will inflict pain on others, but this is only one. They did many studies and only one of them showed those results. Most of the new diseases are a result of civilization. So we think that, what our ancestors before the Industrial Revolution would able to do without with those diseases, they would just die. But most of the most of the diseases we currently have are a result of civilization. Side note: the author failed to address how evolution eliminated the weak. So there is major elimination of the weak by whoever is not well adapted is basically dead. And he is not addressing this idea. According to the author, C-sections are not healthy. However, this means many babies would be killed upon birth. He said that C-sections are not healthy, which could be true because there is like some kind of thing with bacteria, etc. I'm not going to go into that. But this also means that many of them would die. So what does he propose? If it was safe for you to play outside, it's definitely safer for your kids. So it was not safer 10, 20, 30 years ago to play outside. So it means that if you played outside, usually it's more safe for your kids to play outside, which many people disagree. And they do not. They think it's more dangerous. Focusing on close objects can impact vision. That's when we focus on smartphones and everything that is close instead of the way we used to do it in the past. Side note: there are too many quotes in this book. Many quotes. I would say at least 30% of the book is just quotes. Way too long, way too many. Teens have more rules than inmates. So we definitely have too many rules for teens, and they actually have more rules than what inmates in jail have. Interesting point. According to the author, we get used to things rather quickly. The question is if we should go back. So he said that we get used to things very quickly, which is true. Adhonic adaptation, they call it. The question is, that means that we should go back. That means that not having this new stuff is better? It doesn't follow. RAS stands for Rich Asshole Syndrome. I like that. I think this is his own term. RAS, Rich Asshole Syndrome, which people become rich and they become assholes. The less people spend in their final years, the better it gets. So that refers to surgeries and other things that people invest or people spend in their last years to prolong life. And usually those who spend more suffer more, and those who spend less suffer less. So he talks about how we're trying to promote or prolong our life, even though it's not economically or effective. That's it for the notes I took while reading this book. And again, this is 4 out of 5 stars. Interesting. Not necessarily agree with everything he says, but it's a good pessimistic view on our lives. How, in some way, we fucked ourselves by the Industrial Revolution. Again, I don't necessarily agree with it. And I think it's still good to have. I think it's still good to have that revolution, but it's good. It has some good points and gives you some food for thought. For example, I don't agree with the fact that going back is better. Usually, yes, we might have problems today, but does that mean that you go back? Not every time you face a problem means that back in the day was better. I think it's some kind of this nostalgic bias, I would call it, that back then was better. We always have it. We might even think about the same about our lives. Oh, back in the days was so easier. You don't know, and even then, try to fix what you have right now instead of thinking about the past. That's my stance on the matter. And that's it.